I'm pleased to be joined by Wisconsin head coach Luke Fickell. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well. We're kind of wrapping up a little bit here, so you're getting the tail end of this.
Well, hey, maybe I get you a little looser, a little easier going. We'll see. We'll find out. But, Coach, I want to start with this. 21 straight winning seasons at Wisconsin. They are in it every single year, but it's been about 10 years since they won a Big Ten championship and never made the college football playoff. What do you think it's going to take to get over that hump, to get back to that Big Ten championship and eventually play in the CFP?
Well, I mean, like it does every year, right? You got to be able to play your best ball at the end of the season. And I think for us in the development of what we're doing, you know, it's not trying to get there in week one, right? There is a process to what we do. And sometimes when you haven't been there in a while, all the focus becomes on the destination and it's not, you know, put into the process and what it takes to do that. And you got to start somewhere. And I believe we've got the right nucleus. I believe we've got the big guys up front in particular. We've got a running back. I just think we've got some things that walking in the door give us an opportunity to have some success. Now we've got to grow upon that and build upon that.
I'm curious, Coach, you decided to coach Wisconsin in the bowl game against Oklahoma State. You guys got to win. Why was it important for you to be on the field and help that team and really be able to evaluate what was already there?
Well, that you just said it. That's what it was. It was about evaluating. And it wasn't just the players that you were evaluating. It wasn't just the game that I wanted to evaluate. It was the history. It was, you know, the culture, the things, the way guys prepared, the way guys practiced, the way guys played. There were so many more things that I thought were critical when taking over a program with such history and taking over a program that really it was in a pretty good place. I know it wasn't exactly where they wanted it to be, and that's why some changes were made. But by nature, the culture of the things that they've done there and had done there, I thought were really, really strong. And I thought it was important for me to be able to evaluate that, watch that, see that, so that I didn't make the biggest mistakes in changing things that I thought were really, really strong and solid there.
One of the strengths of the program and one of the legacies of the program is the run game. They've always been good about that at Wisconsin. 6-0 last year when they rushed for 192 yards and 22-1 over the last 4 years when they rushed 192 yards. But the thing that stuck out to me is 113th in a modern innovation called the forward pass. And you brought in Phil Longo, who's known to air it out from time to time. What made you think that that was the guy to help you out?
Well, it wasn't about air raid. It wasn't about, you know, the things that Phil has even done. It was about people. And I think more than anything, the uniqueness of his philosophies that might look and sound a little bit different based on throwing the football, but the philosophies of, you know, what I believe in and where the game is won and how things, you know, need to be built, were falling straight in line. And so that relationship that we've had was quite unique. And it wasn't a matter of, hey, you know, can you do this or can we change or can we do this? It was kind of the same kind of thing that Chris McIntosh, when he hired me, he didn't ask me what kind of offense or what are you going to change or what are you going to do. He believed and trusted in me. And kind of the same thing with Phil. We'd had a relationship. I trust and believe in him. I understand that intelligent people find a way to be successful and do what they need to do to find ways to win. And he will do that and we will do that together.
You already impressed the hell out of me into the portal. You went and got Nick Evers, who feels like a really good prospect you can develop, but you also got a guy that I think the world of in Tanner Mordecai. But the thing that stuck out to me was what you had to say about him going, he's exactly what I was hoping for. He kept his mouth shut and went to work. Why was that attitude so important to you to have in your quarterback?
I think that's what we had evaluated about what was here. It wasn't something that him or I needed to come in and think, we just got to put our stamp on this, right? We needed to both kind of recognize the great things that are out there. And ultimately, when you can earn the respect of the people behind you or around you from the way that you do things as opposed to the things that you say, I think it lasts. I think it gives you an opportunity to keep those guys and to maintain that leadership, especially through adverse situations. And you know, I was hoping and believing that maybe he would be like that, but you never quite know as you get guys and how vocal are they, how much do they have the awareness of what it is that needs to be done. And he's completely exceeded my expectations with those types of things, that's for sure.
I don't mind saying it, Coach. You have surprised the hell out of me with how you have not just embraced Wisconsin's culture, but really tried to give it back to some of the fans. The launch being a big success, you are wearing the school colors with a level of pride that I think borders on that of a fan. How did you talk yourself into, no, I'm going to be much more open. I'm going to try to tell people what the program is about, and we're going to try to meet the standard they set for us.
No, I guess recognizing what they have done and some of the experiences that I've had, I think has helped me, right? I mean, we understand how passionate, that's a beautiful thing about the Big Ten in particular, right? The passion that we all have for, our universities, our colors, our logos and things like that. And I think it's important for us to recognize that. I think when people ask, oh, do you have, you've got an incredible knowledge of the Big Ten, and how does that help you? And I don't know that it helps me understanding, what they've done at football-wise at Iowa, or what they've done at Michigan because you've studied them, but understanding what the deep-rootedness of Big Ten football looks like, and how you need to go about embracing so many of the traditions, no matter what school it is. I think that, for me, is what has given me an opportunity to kind of step in here. And I know we haven't played a game or won a game, but to recognize and to understand the ability to embrace all things that make not just Wisconsin, but Big Ten football special.
I've spent a lot of our time today talking about the offense, but I'd be remiss, you being a defensive head coach, what is the 3-3 stack doing for your defense, and why is Mike Tressel the guy to run it?
Well, there was no doubt. I mean, the beautiful thing about Mike is he came here not exactly knowing what his role was going to be, right? We still had some things that were in the works for a good month, and had to figure out how that was all going to be worked out here. And I think the beautiful thing about that is even defensively, we've got to find ways to add to and develop what it is that we've got, right? I mean, they've been pretty darn good defensively here for the last, 15 years, 10 years in particular. So we'd be crazy not to think that what they've done isn't really good, and how do we implement that into a lot of the things that we do, because ultimately it comes down to the people that you have, right? I mean, you can recruit and you can kind of move yourself in different ways, but ultimately when you've got the guys here, you got to put them in positions to do what it is that they can do. So even defensively, I think there's some changing, and there's some things that we're evolving to do, but there's also some things that we're really grasping onto and holding onto that they've done really, really well here.
Wisconsin head coach Luke Fickell, thank you so much for joining us here on the #1 college football show. I'm pleased to be joined by Wisconsin running back Braelon Allen. Braelon, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Quickly, how does a 17-year-old safety prospect become a bell cow back at Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's a wild kind of transition for me. Not really playing running back that much in high school, just kind of like 7 games at, my last season. But, right before I got on campus, I got that call, and it was exciting for me. I mean, I was a 10-year-old kid watching Melvin Gordon, run for 408 out in Nebraska. And, ever since then, that was something that I wanted to do, kind of be in that same position. So it was crazy how it worked out for me. But here we are, and it's been the best decision that was it really made for me. But I would say the best decision I ever made.
After having watched Melvin Gordon rush for those 400 against Nebraska, knowing who Jonathan Taylor is to the program, knowing who Ron Dane is to the program, James White is to the program, I can keep going, Monty Ball. How does it feel to be mentioned in the same sentence as all those cats?
It's a crazy feeling. It's like I said, watching Melvin, watching Monty, James, those guys, and then JT when I was getting a little older, more so in high school. But it's a blessing, honestly, just to be part of that brotherhood, and kind of have those guys in my corner as resources for me whenever I need, whether it's about football, anything else. They're all available for me to reach out to, and I'm always open to give advice. So it's been an amazing experience.
When you are as talented as you are, and you are as big and thick as you are, it does boggle our minds that you were at one point 17 years old doing all of this, but it feels as if you kind of got tired of hearing us say that. Did you feel like, hey, get past the 17 stuff, I'm out here playing really great football at Wisconsin, can we just stick to that?
No, I didn't really get sick of it. I think it just made it kind of a cooler story. I obviously had a pretty good season that year, so it was cool just to, obviously you see the stats or whatever, the tape, but then you just add the fact that I was 17 years old on top of it. It was pretty cool to me, but, obviously last year I wasn't 17, so I wasn't getting it wasn't the same, but it was cool while it lasted.
I run into Badgers fans everywhere. There's even one that owns the gym where I work out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Huge Badger fan. But it does kind of get underneath their skin that the offense is going to change its identity from something that frankly has worked for 21 straight years, 21 straight winning seasons. But I'm looking at it from your standpoint, and I got to ask it this way. How excited are you to see a 6-man box?
I'm incredibly excited. It's something that I wasn't used to. So even in spring ball, early parts of learning this offense, you could definitely just tell a difference in the amount of space that was there running the football. And it also gives me a great opportunity to showcase my talents as a receiver and a pass protector on film as well, which is obviously a major part in the game at the next level. So I definitely want to show my ability to do both those things, as well as kind of refine my skills as a runner. And this new staff has done a great job helping me identify weaknesses, strengths, and kind of attack those and implement more things into my game that are going to make me a better all-around back.
I'm an air raid truther, which is another way of saying that I've known about Coach Longo for some years and his wristbands. But I'm curious how often you have to remind people, he had really great tailbacks at North Carolina, and Michael Carter, Javonte Williams. I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to get opportunities to run on people. Have you even seen that play out during spring ball?
Yeah, definitely have. I mean, it's not, we're not just going away from the run game. It's just more balanced now, I would say, and just a more spread out formation, which gives us even more lanes to run through. As there's, like we said before, not as many guys in the box, and the defense is just more spread out as a whole. So even if I don't get the ball as much, I feel like I'll be just as effective, if not more effective than years past, just because it's going to be more wide and more open for me to be able to have more yards per carry and kind of not have to run into such a stacked box.
How has Coach Fickell integrated into the culture of Wisconsin football?
He's a very intense coach. He's the same guy every day. Shows up and has that fire and energy that kind of is contagious to us. It's a crazy feeling just sitting in the meeting room and he's talking about whatever it might be before practice. It might just be a regular team meeting, but he has your heart pounding like you're about to go to play a game, and it's crazy. He's like that every single day. So he's just very, very contagious energy and great coach. Great leader, and he knows how to win football games.
You've been spending a lot more time with Coach Longo for obvious reasons, being the offensive coordinator. I'm curious, has the offense been difficult to pick up or even simpler than some you've had in the past?
I wouldn't say it's been very difficult. It's just a little different now that we're not huddling or anything. You kind of got to, the biggest adjustment is looking to the sideline, trying to get your signal rather than hearing it in the huddle. That's been the biggest thing, but in terms of scheme, it hasn't been too difficult.
What is that been like, trying to remember that you have to check with me and then you get to play and hope that everybody's on the same page?
Yeah, that's really what it is. I mean, the key is communicating between us on the field as an offense, making sure everybody is on the same page, but definitely a change of pace, and it's very fast too. So it's really hard to have a long run, get back up and try to find the signal. So I kind of sometimes got to rely on Tanner to let me know what the play is. So that's the main key of his communication between the players.
I'm glad you brought up Tanner Mordecai, quarterback at Wisconsin, transferred in from Southern Methodist, but also a Texas guy, right? So, yeah, he's probably brought in to try to help you better understand and operate the offense. But I'm curious, what have you had to teach him about being in Madison, Wisconsin as a dude from Waco, Texas?
Yeah, he's he kind of learned on his own getting there in January, what that's like. So, not being really used to a winter, especially a Wisconsin winter. This one was extra brutal, extra long. So he got to witness that firsthand. So he kind of learned that on his own, but not much really. I mean, he's a guy that just shows up to work every day and does what he needs to do. And he's been in the game for a while now, so he understands what it's like, and he's had the ups and downs of college football, which is very important, because once adversity inevitably hits, he's going to know how to face that, which is what we need, especially at that position. So haven't had to really teach him much, man. He's kind of grabbed it on his own and been a great leader for us.
Well, I am excited to see how you and Tanner lead Wisconsin into this new era of Wisconsin Badger football. Wisconsin running back Braelon Allen, thank you so much for joining us here on the #1 college football show.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me.
I'm pleased to be joined by Wisconsin quarterback Tanner Mordecai. Tanner, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
I'm excited to speak with you because the last time I got to speak with you was actually when you were at Waco Midway and you're getting ready to go to Oklahoma and go on this journey that is taking you from Oklahoma to Southern Methodist to passing for 7,000 yards and over 70 touchdowns. But now that you're in Wisconsin, what are you excited about playing in the Big Ten?
I think I'm excited to get back to a big stage, play for, just a big, great university, an awesome place like Madison that just has a rich culture of winning and just a great football environment. And I'm just really excited to play in Camp Randall.
Has it sunk into you that you represent a changing of the guard offensively in that it feels like you're in a position to rewrite some record books because of the nature of the offense that Coach Longo is running? How does that sit with you?
I'm excited. I'm very excited. I think Coach Longo is one of the top offensive minds in all of football. He's been very successful, so I think this offense as a group is really excited to play for him and show the conference and the nation what we're about.
Coach Fickell has lauded your attitude in coming into the program. So I'm going to ask you to tell me, what was your attitude coming into the program?
Going back to January, I obviously didn't know a lot of guys. So to come into a leadership role, I think relationships was very important to me. To earn trust and respect in these relationships, I think that's kind of built over time. And, I think the trust and the respect comes from what Coach Fickell's talking about. I came in, head down, and worked my butt off. I think that's kind of my MO is my work ethic, and I think that's visible to other guys. So I think that allowed me to gain some respect and trust, and then, like I said, relationships, getting to know guys at a deeper level past the surface, and that allowed me to come into a leadership role pretty quickly.
Most folks know what Coach Longo was able to do at North Carolina, even Ole Miss before that. But one of the things that stuck out to me about you is he said, we expect to be 100% accuracy from a completion standpoint in our quick game. So I'm going to ask it this way. Is he as hard on you on routes on air as Coach Lashley might have been at Southern Methodist?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, they both demand perfection. I think that's what you got to do to be successful. Coach Lashley obviously is very successful in the offense that he runs, and so is Coach Longo. So yeah, they're definitely alike in that fashion, that they expect perfection in the quick game and things that are high completion throws. They need to be perfect, and I would say both of them definitely demand that.
I asked Braelon how you are integrating into Madison. So I'm going to ask you, what was your biggest, I'm from Central Texas, I don't know what I'm doing out here, moment in Madison, Wisconsin?
Probably because that probably happened when I moved in. I came up here like the 18th or something like that, January. And on the 16th, I played golf in Texas when it was like 60 degrees. And then I got to Madison, and there wasn't 1 square inch that wasn't covered in snow when I got here. So, yeah, the weather change really was like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm not in Texas anymore.
Well, there's that, but there's also going to be this Big Ten conference schedule that you're going to play. You're coming into a program that is not unlike Oklahoma in that it has sustained winning for over 20 years. I know you said you're excited, but do you feel any pressure to hold up the tradition that has become winning at Wisconsin?
There's a standard here that involves a rich winning tradition, and that's definitely our job to keep that standard and raise the bar. And I mean, I am excited. I don't think the pressure's something that I'm worried about. And I think these guys, this team, this culture, this staff is just so thrilled to put what we've been working on the field and show everyone what we're about.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about another guy that began his career that signed to Oklahoma in Nick Evers.
Yeah.
What, if anything, has he done to impress you?
Nick is very talented. He has all the tools. He's a young cat. But whenever he figures out the process of playing quarterback at a big level, I think that the sky's the limit for Nick. He's got everything that he needs to be successful, and I'll be excited to see what he does.
I think he's fortunate to have a guy like you to learn from, because it strikes me, and I'm sure many, that your journey through the sport has been, well, really fascinating to watch, but also had some unique highs associated with it. Now that you're going into this season and you reflect on the journey that is taking you from Waco Midway to Madison, Wisconsin, what are you most grateful for?
I would say definitely my relationships. The relationships I've made, relationships and lessons learned for sure, but definitely the people I've met, going back to Oklahoma, some of my best friends I talk to every single day are the people that I met at Oklahoma. We went through some things together, COVID, all that stuff, and that just kind of brought us closer. So, and then going to SMU, same thing, meeting a lot of great people, a lot of my best friends that I'll have for the rest of my life. And I have no doubt I'll have the same experience here as at Wisconsin as far as relationships go.
Well, that's what I want for you. I also want you to have an outstanding season on the field. Wisconsin quarterback Tanner Mordecai, thank you so much for joining us here on the #1 college football show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.